Hello and welcome to Cruise 5. Malawi celebrated 54 years of independence from colonial rule not so long ago. In this special edition of Cruise 5, we feature a special guest who has served in 3 regimes: the regime of Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda, the regime of Dr. Bakiri Muluzi, and the regime of Professor Bingu wa Mutharika. Thengo Maloya, welcome to Cruise 5.
Thank you, thank you.
Let me start by knowing where you originally come from.
It depends on what you mean by originally. Because I come from Machinga.
So you originally come from Machinga?
But I was born in Zambia.
Okay.
So I was born in Zambia, and we migrated to Machinga.
All right.
By then it was Fort Johnson.
Fort Johnson?
Yes.
You lived in Machinga during the time it was called Fort Johnson?
Yes, I did.
So long ago?
Not very long ago.
Fort Johnson, that's a long time ago.
Okay.
You ask a regular person on the street, they wouldn't tell you what Fort Johnson means.
Well, yes, but things change very fast.
Yes.
Yes.
So your parents originally from Machinga?
My mother originally from Fort Johnson.
Okay.
Which is Mangochi now.
Mangochi, yes. All right.
That is my mother's father.
Okay.
There's a place that is called Chiwaula, Lingamasa.
Okay.
That is where my grandparents on mother's side.
Okay.
My father comes from Zomba. How they got married, I don't understand, but it appears that my grandfathers, from my mother's side, moved and settled, you know, Chikamwini.
Yes.
Yeah, they settled in Zomba.
Okay.
At Impola village.
Okay.
That is exactly where I was born.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many were you born in your family?
Frankly speaking, there were about 7 of us.
7.
7. The eldest was my brother, who passed away a few years ago. And there was a brother who passed away, and then my sister, then my humble self, certain person passed away, and then my young brother, who also passed away. As it is now,
Yeah.
I'm the only one remaining because my eldest brother passed away.
Oh,
My sister passed away.
sorry to hear that.
My young brother passed away.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm remaining alone now.
Well, we're lucky to have you around and would like to learn more from you because we know that you are privileged to have served in 3 regimes, the regime of Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda, Dr. Bakiri Muluzi, and Professor Bingu wa Mutharika. And since we've just been celebrating 54 years of independent rule, we would like to know more about why we should be celebrating, how we should be celebrating. Is there anything to celebrate about? But I think we'll get to that point a little bit later on. I want to know what time particularly you were growing up. Obviously, you were growing up in times that we're calling Mangochi Fort Johnson, which to the regular teenager now is probably ice ages ago. Where exactly did you grow up as a young boy?
Let me correct a little the record of governments I've served.
Yes.
Because before the Federation came in the Nyasaland, I also worked as a civil servant in the Nyasaland Protectorate.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
So it's full.
Serving as a civil servant, we had 2 regulations.
Okay.
Yes, African regulations and European regulations.
Okay.
Civil service regulations.
Wow.
So I worked up to 1952, 54.
Okay.
I worked in agriculture. At first I was employed working at the secretariat as a Zomba person.
Yes.
I grew up in Zomba.
Okay.
But because my village was, as you know, my village was surrounded by Islamic influence.
Yes.
So I think involvement is greater than heredity.
Yeah.
So my father decided that I should move away from the village.
Okay.
So I was moved away from the village. I went to a place that was called Kachenjera Manja, just at Urumba.
All right.
And from there, I was then moved to Malawi Mission in Makwasa,
Okay.
Cholo.
All right.
So frankly speaking, I grew up in Zomba. From my village to come to Zomba, played in Zomba very well. Entertainments in Zomba.
Yes.
I said Zomba boy.
A proper Zomba
That's a
boy.
Zomba
A
boy.
proper
That's a
Zomba boy,
Zomba
as I
boy.
can tell. What were
Right.
your parents doing at this time when you were growing up?
I think my father had retired then,
Okay. Yeah.
but we survived by growing rice.
Okay.
At Ikanda village, there were fields of rice fields where we cultivated rice.
How was life like growing up in those times as a rice farmer?
Let me tell you that it was beautiful
Yeah?
because I had no worries.
Yes.
All I knew was that when father and mother said, let's go gardening,
You go gardening.
no complaint. And after sharing the rice, I and my mother would walk to Zomba market.
Yes. Admark.
At the,
Probably before it even became
Zomba
Admark.
market.
Okay, just the ordinary market.
Yeah, ordinary market.
Okay.
And then we would be able to sell all the rice.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my mother was a teacher.
Yes.
My father, a teacher.
Yes.
So they married each other.
Okay.
You can see the reason why they wanted me to get it. They were the founders of the first Presbyterian Church of Scotland in Impupu.
Okay.
If you went to St. Michael and All Angels in Lanta,
Yes.
you'll find a pillar made of stones.
Yes.
And you'll find one stone called Impupu.
Uh-huh.
Always when I'm there, I'm going to visit this place.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
some time ago in 1914, 17.
Wow.
Right.
That's our guest today in Cruise 5. But you ended up being an Adventist, didn't you?
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
It's my father. In 1920, he went to Dar es Salaam. It was Tanganyika at that time. They called it Tanganyika territory. How he became an Adventist, I don't know.
Yes.
But when he came, he established the Adventist church at my village.
Well, he had this hobby of establishing churches and planting churches around.
You see? So I grew up in that atmosphere of being an Adventist,
All right.
being Church of Scotland. But later on, I think I tended to fall on this
Adventist side.
And my mother also became an Adventist.
So you must love Adventist music quite a lot.
I do. I do. Because I grew up Seventh Adventist. And as I've said, I'd gone from my village
Yes.
to another village and left in for Makwasa. And at Malawi Mission, we had a lady, Miss Foot, her name, beautiful lady. She was so good at music. She used to play music.
Okay.
We used to sing.
Yes.
Yes.
I know Adventists love singing a lot, and I look forward to seeing you sing along to this song, which is going to be our first song in Cruise 5 today. And this is a medley of different songs that most Adventists would love. Kumwamba, let's sample this one in Cruise 5.
Ndigonda kupiraku kajisiwa kalelo kugambera nyimbo zo kwathu kusasinthikako imasauto kulibe inde kwathu kowalako kodi sudzapumulako osapangidwa ndi manja kwathu kwabwinoko komwe angelo aimba ndilindi kwathu ine osapangidwa ndi manja kwathu kwabwinoko ndilindi kwathu ine chimwemwe chizaimba nyimbo zokumwamba chimwemwe pamaokongolao chizabalania kolona ndikuine munyadila poimba kumwamba chimwemwe chizakondwali masikulo mulino lino lizipita ikomana kuzizolita
A lovely song there. I bet you must have loved that song.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
yes, yes.
Because you said if you like the song, you'll be tapping your foot and nodding your head.
I've been.
And I
been
noted
shaking
that
my
you're
head,
tapping your foot and
nodding
nodding your head.
Right.
That's Thengo Maloya, our guest today in Cruise 5. And as we move on, we know you as, we call you now a veteran politician, but clearly you've been a very, very active politician, like since times began, essentially, when we talk about Malawi. I would like to know how you got introduced to politics.
I also do not know.
You do not know.
But the fact is that I grew up as an Adventist, grew up with the feeling and the training that it was not good to join politics.
Okay.
But somehow I started reading about Dr. Banda early in 1951 to 52.
Okay.
So I was interested in what sort of a man this was.
Yeah.
Some people were saying, the white people were saying there's a witchweed growing in Central Africa.
Okay.
How they called Dr. Banda witchweed, I don't know.
Okay.
So I followed what the witchweed was about.
Yeah.
And by 52, it was clear to me, 52, that they meant a man called Hastings Banda. Oh, this man had trained in America and moved to London, England, and practicing. So I said, oh, so it's a witchweed.
This is a witchweed.
Why is it becoming a witchweed?
Yes.
I was working at the Agricultural Experimental Station, that is Makanga Agricultural Experimental Station. At first, we were at Mpemba. I hope you know Mpemba.
Yes, I do.
You know Chazrunda as you go further.
Yes.
And there's a place called Mbame. Mbame is where our headquarters was. By then, we're trying to explore whether we would put sugarcane, or sugarcane could be grown in the Shira River, along the Shira River.
Okay.
So Alimenda and other places, people were exploring from there. I was on the administrative side. After that, we moved to Makanga Agricultural Station. Here now, we're trying to find out how cotton can grow
Okay.
mixed with maize. We called that randomization.
Yes.
And how we would eradicate bollworm. Bollworm is something that affects the cotton ball.
Cotton, yes, yes.
So I was there. During this transition period, I think I got interested in knowing whether we are being ruled properly or not. African civil service and European civil service, the same government.
So there were two types of civil service.
African civil service regulations and European civil service regulations.
How different was it? Like, what exactly was happening? I would like to know more about this.
That is, if you have to be promoted, you must work with efficiency, diligence, and fidelity.
Okay.
And your next man must approve that you have really worked with efficiency, diligence, and fidelity.
Yes.
Therefore, I was saying, but why the same government? Nyasaland government. He is in the European service, I'm on African civil service. See that?
You were in the African civil service.
Yes, I was
obviously.
African.
Who was serving in the African civil service? Was it blacks only? And
Only black, only Malawian,
Okay.
any Nyasa.
okay,
Yeah.
any Nyasa in the African civil
That's
service,
right.
and then
But
Europeans.
any white person,
Okay,
but within the European civil service.
working for the same government essentially.
Same government, same offices. That you can see made a background for me to say, there is segregation.
Yeah. How old were you around this time that you were getting this
I think I
curious?
should be about 22 years old.
Quite a young boy.
Yeah,
What a young man. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. That's why, it used to pain me a little.
Yes.
You do almost the same job. In fact, you did more than what a white man did,
Yes.
and then you were paid less.
Yes.
£3, 10 shillings, while the white man was drawing in pounds. That was a bit painful.
Yes.
But I must say this, that the white man, government white man, was not as cruel as a missionary white man.
Okay.
The government white man would accommodate you. He would like to shake you, of course, but he would like to accommodate you as a human being. Whereas a missionary would pretend that he was a good man to you. We are going the same heaven. But when it comes to church, you must have an African church
Yes.
and a white man church. That also added in my impetus on why.
Yeah.
And reading a lot, as a young man, and I was reading somebody, and I quote this very rare, that I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that I quote this all the time.
Yes.
Somebody, John Thengo Joab from South Africa,
Yes.
said whether they came with a gun, whether they come with a trade, whether they came with a Bible, they're all thieves.
Well, which is basically the truth. I mean, you living through those times and seeing this with your own eyes.
At my time, I began believing this,
Yes.
because you'd enter into a deceased house
Yes.
without segregation. I was at an experimental session where I said some white people would come from Uganda and other places and would be called upon to eat together with them. I tell you what, an incident which turned me 100% politics is when I went to my fellow Adventist minister,
White or black?
white, and we went for a meeting. And all black people were asked to leave their shoes outside. But the white man must enter in that
With his shoes on.
with shoes. And when you remove the shoes,
Yeah.
because there's heat there,
Yes.
you find flies outside.
Yeah.
That pained me.
That must have been unbearable.
And I was unable to enter into the meeting. I said no.
You protested.
I did protest. 3
Yes.
days, I didn't go. The
You said, I'm not removing my
I
shoes
said no.
just to enter into the house.
No, it's not a holy place. Of course, they were doing it for hygienic purpose, but if it was hygienic purpose, what about the white
What
man?
about the other people?
That's why. What about the white man? So you can see these forces pulled me closer to politics.
How did it turn from just protesting to now you being proactive and saying, I think I should stop just reading and feeling bad about this. Let me pick up the arms and let me do something about it. Let me fight, essentially.
When The Federation was imposed in 1953. With the background I've given you,
Yeah.
I was forced to back the chiefs, because by then it was the chiefs, felling trees on the roads and so forth.
Yes.
That drew me closer into politics,
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
Because what I saw, what was happening in my own eyes, that you'd buy a bicycle from a window at Mandara store. Now, how do I know whether it is right, or whether the handles are right or not?
Yeah, yeah.
All that was, coming into my mind as to say the white man, of course, whether he came with trade, whether he came with the Bible, whether we came with...
They're all thieves.
So I said I'll put myself, my lot in politics. But I prayed very hard. And then a white man came and picked me and said, we want you to be a commission. We want you to become acting mission director, the first African mission director at Tehran mission in Cholo.
Such a dilemma.
So I said, I think so. Because all the time, I was first employed in Zomba at the secretariat, but I said, no, I need to transfer because I don't want to work on Sabbath.
Okay.
So I changed into agriculture.
Okay.
So while I was at mental station at Makanga Agriculture mental station, I used to go preaching on Sabbath,
Okay.
working. After working, then I would go on Sabbath preaching at Mona, where later Chakwamba came near, where Fatima. So people in the mission, they regarded me as a very faithful person who keeps Sabbath as part of my position, who also engaged in preaching, opening up new areas. This man, we are wasting his talent. Let him come to the mission.
Okay.
So I was recruited to come to the mission and I accepted that. After 3 years, then I would go for ministerial course in Zimbabwe and then South Salisbury at that time. I think with the incident I told you about not going into the house with my shoes,
Yes.
and he is a missionary. My missionary, my director, used to call us to go in his house. We used to eat in his house. Which is more important, to eat on the same table
Yeah.
or just walk in and sit somewhere and listen to the meetings? I thought probably more germs should be spreading by touching the plates.
Exactly.
See?
Exactly.
That, when I came, I told my directors, we were moving back. After, why didn't you enter into the meeting for 3 days, brother?
Yes.
I said, at that time I was not called a brother. Because you wouldn't call a brother to remove your shoes. When
Exactly.
you went in the house with,
Yeah.
with your shoes on, that's typical segregation. So I think I'm joining politics. I said it right then. He stopped his car, we prayed in the car. This was Elder Dos. So I made up my mind. Enough was enough. When we reached to Tehran mission, I resigned and went back home to Machinga, Fort Johnson. On my way, I came across a place that was called Machinga. Because today Machinga is the Boma.
Yes.
No, Machinga was not the Boma.
Okay.
It is at Mulomba, where there was a headquarters of societies, rice growing societies. It was called Machinga. Pakuchingangana, meaning meeting place.
Aha.
Kuchingangana. From Lichinga, where the youngs came from. So when they have come to meet at this place. So I found that. But now I've lost employment. I've resigned. So I asked for employment. We need a manager. So I went home. 2 weeks later I came in. I was employed as assistant manager, Rice Grass Cooperative Union. We had societies all around. Kota Kota, Tonsanje, and rice growing extended to Kaporo, in northern Karonga. So I was at Apex when later on we were detained. Before detention, my manager resigned.
Okay.
I remained now as a manager, general manager of Machinga Rice Growers Cooperative Union.
We'll hear about the detention. I'm quite curious to hear about that and so many other things. Like, for example, at this time, was the Nyasaland African Congress already in operation and many other things. But before we get to that, I'd like us to take a quick break. So let's listen to our next song in Cruise 5 as we continue talking to Mr. Thengo Maloya, our guest today. This is Cruise 5, and today we're talking to Mr. Thengo Maloya, a veteran politician who says he made up his mind to join politics after facing a lot of segregation in those sad old days. He said it himself. I am joining politics. Well, most people will say, oh no, and they say that's what the politicians are saying these days. Yeah. You're like, but where's the drive? Where's the inner drive? You need to have that fire in you to say, I think I want to do this. And I like that you actually made that conscious decision.
Yes.
When you noticed what was happening around you.
And there was no somebody from home at that time. It was very
Nobody had done politics before in your family, was there?
No.
Yeah.
No, except joining the army. I had an uncle, my mother's brother, who
Yeah.
joined army.
Yeah.
My elder brother joined the army. My eldest brother joined the army, and another brother joined. So we had 4 people in the army.
You seem to have been drawn quite into agriculture, apart from your passion for religion. Is that what you always wanted to become when you were doing school?
When I was doing school, I don't think I was always aiming to become a teacher or a pastor.
After looking at your parents as your role models, obviously.
After not studying my Bible very well.
Yes.
Because we do, Adventists do study Bible.
Yes, they do.
They used to study Bible in my days.
Yes.
And I thought there was no nobler job
Yeah.
than either to teach, because I thought there was dignity of labor in teaching. And indeed there's dignity of labor.
Yes.
If teachers do not realize that, they should know that. Because they can make somebody who doesn't know to become something.
Yeah.
They can make somebody who doesn't think properly to think properly.
That's a great thing.
So I feel that teaching, there is dignity of labor in teaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that probably people think that we don't regard teachers.
You are.
At one time I was a deputy minister, Minister of Education, but I did tell them, I
Yeah.
did stress this point.
Yeah.
So my aim was to become a minister of religion.
Okay.
That's why when I was employed as secretariat in Zomba, I asked for transfer to a ministry where I can work on my own on Sunday. And that was only Minister of Agriculture.
The time that your passion for politics was growing, was it the time that we already had the Nyasaland African Congress? Was it already in existence at this time?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
The other time we were expelled from school. We had to go to Bambosangala, Tiangus we used to call him, in plant. People don't know that. He used to be called Tiangus. We went there to say if they could help us, if he could, if the Nyasaland African Congress would help us. Boys, today we're fighting the white man. And the mere fact that they have expelled you from school, you better go and plead. We want educated young people. So I wouldn't advise you otherwise than to go back. From Blanda, when I went back, but I was not allowed to come back. I seem to have led the protest.
You did.
That was
You
it. That
did.
interfered with me.
Let's look at how your political career took off after you started, getting this interest in politics.
When I joined the Machinga Rice Growers Cooperative Union,
Yes.
my manager then was a man who had married an elder sister to what we call Catherine Chipembere.
Okay.
So Mr. Chipembere used to visit Mr. Ntiesa then. And therefore, I admired Mr. Chipembere.
Okay.
Oh yes, yes, I admired him.
Yes.
Yes. So again, that drew me closer to politics.
Okay.
And when it came to electing members of Legislative Council, the chiefs and other people had also recommended that Chipembere should join the Legico.
Okay.
So he did. So we were campaigning for him and telling other people, we need some educated people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was drawing me closer to politics, closer and closer to politics. So I would say it was a slow move but fast one.
Okay.
Because at that time, the people in Salisbury were saying in 1960, Malawi would be joining into Dominion. It would have Dominion status.
Okay. And what did that mean?
That would mean it would be independent.
Okay.
You do not get anything like Australia.
Okay.
It will not get anything from Whitehall, that is London.
Okay.
And we were agitated because then Salisbury then had the Boers and the British who were also practicing the South African segregation, apartheid. So we're saying if we enter into this and becomes a dominion, what happens? Unfortunately, one of the leaders went to London and he was campaigning for dominion status.
Okay.
What is it that we have done? Well, we are eradicating segregation, but we want partnership. That of a horse and a rider. Partnership of a horse and a rider.
A horse and a rider.
White man being a rider, black man being a
A
horse.
horse.
That didn't augur well with us. We become horses.
Yeah.
If without upper head, we are being dominated, what about with the dominion status?
Dominion.
This is also what made Mr. Chipembere to go and plead with Dr. Banda in Kumasi
Yes.
to come back and lead the fight. Because our friends would speak, no, we were going to talk to the white people. They would talk to the white people, I don't think not strongly, but they will come to Australia. We have told them.
Yeah, but nothing was changing. Some
Nothing. My own uncle was saying, this man who has come, meaning Dr. Band,
Yeah.
this man will get you imprisoned.
I'm a good minute.
And then Dr. Band was, we must fight. We must all go to prison because Nkrumah was elected as prime minister from prison.
Yes.
We must go to prison.
So let's not be afraid of prison.
We must go to prison in thousands. So my uncle says, this man is going to lead you.
He'll get you in prison.
I said, no, this is contra freedom. This is what they used to say. They talk something to white man,
Yes.
they come and tell us something.
Exactly. A lot of fear at that time.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So Dr. Banda actually led the battle.
Okay.
Yes.
And tell me about the coming of Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda. There must have been a lot of excitement and euphoria in the party at that time, I guess.
Yes, excitement in the sense that we thought we were going to call a Messiah. You know, Chipembere was also a Christian, UMCA, and his father was Archdeacon.
Yes.
So you can see mentality of us calling Dr. Banda Messiah, biblical terms. So, it fitted very well with me. Yes, this is going to be a Messiah,
The Messiah.
to redeem us,
Yeah.
to remove this British colonialism.
Yes.
So you see, yes, it did. Even the chiefs, because our people had let us down.
Okay.
Our contemporary leaders
Yes.
had let us down.
Yeah.
They said federation was bad, but they campaigned to be members of parliament
In the federation.
You were talking about one of my uncles went there, and remember another one, Wellington Manoa Chilwa. But you see, federation is bad.
But what I see are mostly these are young people.
This is what made Dr. Banda popular.
Yeah.
Because they are after their stomachs. They cannot oppose federation.
So
they are in there.
Dr. Banda was also hitting at these people.
Yes.
He
yes.
didn't spare them.
When Dr. Banda came, he said, if you want me to rule, if you want me to lead Nyasaland African Congress, I must make my own leaders.
Yes.
That's why he had his own leaders. Lawrence Makata as the chairman of the party.
Okay.
And Secretary General was Dunduzu Yakaluri Chisiza.
Chisiza, yes.
Administrative Secretary Yatuta Yakaluri Chisiza.
Chisiza, yeah.
And then Treasurer General was Masako Chipembe. So you can see Secretary General, yes, that's I said Dunduzu. So you can see he chose the young people.
Yes.
And was able to say, my boys.
Yeah.
And we were very happy to be called.
To be called his boys.
Although later on, that was a bone of contention.
Exactly. Because fast forward, 1960, around that time,
Yes.
there's a revolt. The Messiah. How do you revolt against the Messiah?
So when Dr. Banda came, there was commotion.
Yes.
The first day he didn't come. He had sent a message, but the message didn't reach the leaders.
Okay.
And you could see people, Kanyama and Jipembere, ransacking the plane.
Yes.
You might have hidden him. You want to kill him when we are gone.
Oh, really?
Yes, they were allowed to go on the plane, ransack the country. Nobody in the plane. By the time we received the message that no, he was unable to come, but he will come on such date. So you can see, yes.
He changed.
He changed on the date of arrival.
Okay.
He changed to the future date, but communication did
If
not.
he had arrived on the day that he was going to arrive, something really bad was going to happen.
I tell you. But although he came on another day, there were many people. Oh, many people.
Yeah?
You know, we had organized very well.
Yes.
And at my time, in those days was Mr. Nsonte, John Nsonte. Not the Nsonte we know, these are sons.
Yes.
But John Nsonte was a teacher at Zambia Catholic Secondary.
Is this the one who eventually started translating Kamuzu's
That's
speech?
right, that's right. And then Mr. Jizanja here, Jizanja Nkoma.
Yes.
But with the Nsonte, and Mr. Limbe, at the bar at 6 miles in Zomba, we started organizing. Dr. Banda is coming. How do we welcome Dr. Banda?
Yes.
The policemen will not be happy
To see him here.
to escort Dr. Banda. So we had young people who had motorcycles who were working for the government.
Yeah.
So we organized people, trained motorcades to escort Dr. Banda from the airport to the house where he would spend a night. You see, and unfortunately, Mr. Kasonga's home where Dr. Banda arrived and spent. Kasonga. So you can see the arrangement was thorough and people were very happy. And when he came in, when he was given this leopard thing, signifying that he is going to fight the Federation,
Yes.
he accepted. And that's why he made these arrangements that he would like to appoint his own people
Yes.
who can work with him, rather than the old people who sometimes were not honest. Financially, they were not honest. I used to send money for them to run the Congress, but that money went into their pockets.
Yeah.
If they received the money, it went to them.
Yeah.
So we accepted that Dr. Banda should choose his own leaders.
It didn't take long before you realized that Dr. Kamuzu Banda was not necessarily the man that you thought he was, because there was the cabinet crisis. Can you just briefly tell me what exactly happened? What was that fiasco all about?
I think the cabinet crisis was our own making.
Whose own making?
The minister's own making.
Okay.
I'll tell you the reason why. Dr. Banda showed signs of dictatorship. My boys, I want that. There will be nobody in Zimbabwe, there was a minister in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
So people said, but you can't be a minister of everything. Yes, we accept your boys, but now here when you say boys, we talk about the people working as a boy, cooks and so forth.
Yeah, sure.
We
But
can't
we
be-
are fully grown adults.
But Dr. Banda was not wrong. Who are his boys? I have my boys. You are saying I have people who can follow me.
Well-
But when the things went to souring, the minister did not take up, not to swallow the word my boys. It was a bit humiliating.
I thought so too. It's quite demeaning.
Right. But all along they had accepted to be Dr. Banda. We had
Ana Mongo Sangalala. Zakamuzu Banda. Zonse nyumba zimene Zakamuzu Banda. And then suddenly they call you your boys and then you're protesting.
The ministers started backbiting each other.
Okay.
And therefore, that made Dr. Banda also think twice. In the past, he was a dictator, but if you went and talked something, if I went and talked about you, he would say, that's so. If that's so, yeah, I'll speak more about you. I want to finish you, drop you down.
Okay.
Later on, he would call you. First, I would be called. I'll sit on the chair, and later, the last will be you, because I've talked about you.
Okay.
Then you'll be called to come. Dr. Banda would say, can you tell him what you told me?
Oh my goodness.
So for me to talk, to tell
In
you
the face.
what,
I know, maganiza kuti chimango uza
yeah,
No, but can you say what you told me?
Liar. Didn't you say that? Didn't you say that? I was amazed that in the end, Dr. Banda was able to listen to backbitings. But although he was a dictator, backbiting was not in his veins.
He didn't like it at all.
3 times I've heard that cases. Can you tell him what you told me?
Yeah.
You see, so it was difficult for me to go tell Dr. Banda lies about somebody because he would call me.
Yeah.
And when you talk lies,
You must be ready to...
you qualify a lie with another lie. So you have so many lies to be told.
Exactly, they pile up.
You see that?
Yes.
So when the ministers now realize that Dr. Banda is dictating so much, it was too late. First with the symposium, one of the best symposiums ever in Malawi. Dunduzu which is organized, beautiful. But as a young man, I was told, don't go to these places by one minister. What is wrong? By then, Mr. Chipembere was in prison. I'll go to Chipembere. They said, no, Thengo, you can go. You must learn these things. So you could see the differences. Some ministers did not want someone to go above them. That's why they didn't want to have even a secondary or deputy prime minister.
Yes.
If I can become, if I say you become, and most people did not like, I'm sorry about Chipembere because he was already popular.
Yeah.
So it was tried to say no. So this backbiting went on until Dr. Banda discovered that people are not united.
Okay.
The more they went to backbite to talk about their friends, the more Dr. Banda realized, Malawi and South Although nyimbo yatu njala tenda
Njala ntenda sanje.
Yes.
Sanje yonde imene so ili batsogolo kwambiri.
Exactly. So you can see that after that, Dr. Banda also made several mistakes,
Okay.
but this would be corrected. About tickets, that when people go to the hospital, you must
Yes.
pay ticket, 3 pence in essence,
Yeah.
To me, that was not too bad today.
Yes, yes.
But at that time, I thought it was bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But today, I know Dr. Banda saw our hospitals,
Yes.
how dirty they are.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's a man who was practicing in London, and
Very,
therefore he
very-
wanted the
very
hospital to
smart
be
hospitals,
cleaner.
yeah, yeah.
So he thought if people paid the ticket, although it's a small amount, it will mount up to a very big river,
Yeah,
and we will be able to paint the hospital.
yeah.
And then another point that precipitated this thing was that he appointed Mr. Jordanum, who was a Portuguese from Beira.
Mm.
At one time we went to his home. At one time when I led trade mission, late Dr. Katengeza, and who was our deputy speaker, speaker himself, we went to Beira. We saw this man, very rich man. And Dr. Mata thought he's closer to Malawi. We could make him ambassador at large. And then the Skinner report about increasing salaries, remuneration for civil servants. When Dr. Banda said, but my people don't need a lot of money. They can grow their own sweet potatoes and use that as tea. That, it became a mountain. So the minister saying, no, it's not good. It's not good. But Dr. Banda did consent about tickets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, it's all right. About
We'll move it.
yes, but when you talk about the Portuguese man, I have to concept. I don't have somebody who is suitable because ambassador at large you go everywhere.
Yeah.
That the ministers were not happy. But then, because of the bickering, they were united on these points. They went to Dr. Banda. When Dr. Banda said, all right, I concede that, then we will not have that, we will not have that, we will not have that. They thought that he was defeated.
Okay.
And then they made a mistake to say, Ipo, you resign, people do not want you. I mean, in July, it's popular. Within 1 month, September, he must resign. That was not good thinking.
They gave him an ultimatum to resign. In 1 month,
Yes,
he must go.
he must go.
What did he do?
For those reasons, I was simply talk to you.
But what did Kamuzu do when he was given that ultimatum?
Kamuzu was matured politically. He had his friend, Nkrumah,
Yes.
in Ghana.
Yes.
When my ministers were asked to go, who do you think will become the president or the prime minister?
Yeah.
They said, well, no, we'll tell you after you have resigned. That was prematurity.
Yeah, yeah.
They said, go and think and let me know. They went there saying, what? Because they didn't trust each other.
Exactly.
They wouldn't say, appoint me.
Yeah, sure.
After 7 days, they went back there. Yes, no, Bwana, when you, Your Excellency, when you resign, we'll let you know. I'll give you 5 days. After 5 days, people could not buy, could not tell Dr. Banda. During this period, JZU is alive.
Yes.
And Kakamsonde, I've talked to you. We
Yes.
used to call him Kakamsonde.
Yeah.
Brother Msonde. We called Dr. Banda. You want Chipembere to reign, to rule this country? No. These people said, no, not Chipembere. People, Chipembere then was in Canada. There was a teacher, ministers of education ministers conference.
Yes.
No, Chipembere is termed like yourself. He's too popular and people don't like him. Who is then?
The one who would take over from me.
Then unfortunately they mentioned the name of Kanyama.
Chiume.
Oh boy. That's why Dr. Banda used to call Kanyama Chume devil.
That's where the trouble started.
You can hear why Dr. Banda used to Kanyama devil.
Yes.
So from there, you were given 3 days. Come, let me know your stand. Nothing was said. Mute. No name was disclosed, Dr. Banda. So he asked them, do you want me to abdicate? Because I resigned without somebody abdicating.
Yes.
So why do you want me to abdicate? I sympathize, like my later Roger Chiwambo you who I sympathize, you're all dismissed. I was then in Blackpool, in England. I was reading 7-man members of parliament in London, and I was in Blackpool. In the evening, I got a message. You are wanted at the Whitehall tomorrow morning. You're supposed to go to Geneva to represent Malawi. Is being selected as in the WHO, World Health Organization.
Yes.
So you are going to represent me. I said, I'm not a Minister of Health. So I said, I'll go. Kuma Sendeza was a close friend of mine, late.
Yeah.
I said, Ajman, take over. I'll come. Because we had just started, you know.
Okay.
So we were supposed to go through. About a month. We were supposed to be there about a month, yes, going through. So I came to London from Blackpool. That's when I got to know that there was a crisis. You see, I found a note that was written by Jibembe Rosso, was asked to come back by his friends. The note was not a good one in the language. Nchona ojawamba kuvutisa. Nchona.
Meaning Kamuzu.
Came Nchona. So he left. This is when I got to know that there's a crisis in Malawi. And when I was asked, what do you think is going to happen? I said, no, Malawi is the captain and master of the ship. He's going to sail in the Safe Bay. Dr. Banda heard that BBC announcement. He says, I have my stooge there. He thinks I'm the captain and master of the ship. I'll be able to sail to the Safe Bay. So he thought I'm really 100% with him. I didn't know the situation until I arrived in Geneva. Because we had Dr. Park, who was Director of Medical Services,
Yes.
who was acted as my secretary. Because as a minister, you don't know what goes on.
Yeah.
It's a secretary who will tell you what you must do. So at that time, he told me everything. Some of my brothers, like Banaus, Dr. Banaus, had left the country. Even Augustine Banaus late, all these are late, they had left the country. Kanyamajume also had left the country. He tried to drive and then they was arrested by young pioneers, but Dr. Banda allowed him to go. A number of them. It's only Jipembere who is in the country. Because when this broke out, Jipembere came back, he joined his friend.
Yeah.
Dr. Banda had written a letter, gave it to his father, who was Archdeacon, give your son. Since he had known, he was told that Jipembere was not involved.
Yes.
Probably he thought that Jipembere might be able to stabilize the situation,
Yeah.
or be with him.
Yes.
Jipembere also not knowing, he just said, no. If I went to Dr. Banda, what will my friend do?
Yes.
That was a mistake. He could have gone to see Dr. Banda.
Okay.
He could have been able to reconcile
Yes.
the two. Or he could have been telling his friends. But his friends went there and pumped him with all lies and told him that. So what did Jipembere do? He didn't want to betray his friends. He was honest as he was. He said, no, I am resigning. So he too
Resign.
threw his towel and resigned publicly now. So you might have heard there was a parliament that was called by Dr. Banda, vote of confidence. In this place again, prematurity allowed the minister to say, the ex-minister to say, they had all the confidence in Dr. Banda, but his administration was wrong here. So when you say I have confidence in him, but he won the day.
Yeah.
And if you read the Hansard, you would actually see how the young people hammered on the ex-ministers. Who were they? They couldn't have redeemed us. Where were they? Why did they call you? What? They shouldn't have called you. They knew they were helpless. I read the Hansard myself. I've throughout. It was not good. This is what precipitated the cabinet crisis.
The cabinet crisis, the famous cabinet, the many faces of the cabinet crisis. We will never ever be able to peel this onion. Every layer that you peel, you find another layer down there. But let's take a quick break before we continue with Cruise 5. Our guest today is Thengo Maloya. How did you find yourself in exile?
When I came from Geneva, Remember, these things were happening while I was out.
Yes.
I told my friends, like late Kumasendeza, to continue with the tour.
Okay.
I came to Italy after I had heard what Dr. Parker told me,
Okay.
to be able to understand again from the other part. I stayed in Italy for 2 weeks. I had nothing. The name Malawi was not even known. So I decided to come to Kenya. So I flew to Kenya. Staying in Kenya, I made a mistake too. I was premature. I decided that I should see Jomo Kenyatta, then president, because Dr. Banda used to tell us the only president he trusted
Was Mzee Jomo Kenyatta.
Pleading that he could write a letter to Dr. Banda asking him to forgive his boys. I was very sincere because Mr. Jipembe was there as well. Talking to Oginga Joromongi, the father of the ex-president, and other people, I think Jomo Kenyatta was allowed to write a letter. So he wrote a letter to that Dr. Banda should forgive. These are the people who called him. He can reprimand others, but not. So I got that letter. And I was equipped to say I'm going home with a letter of reconciliation. That was a mistake. When we came, we didn't know that what had happened. Between that period, Mr. Jipembe had attempted to hold a meeting in Blantyre, in Mount Sochi, but then there was a problem. So when I came to Malawi, we were whisked from the airport. Of course, that was Chireka Airport. That was the only. We came to Lilongwe here, gave in everything, and I was commended very well. I was told to go to become a full minister, and I'll go to Formosa, which is Taiwan now, ironically. Everything was done beautifully well, but I made a mistake by saying, but I brought a letter. So Dr. Banda said, a letter? Yes, from whom? From Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. From Mzee Jomo Kenyatta? What did it that you knew that went wrong here? Who made you an ambassador of peace? Who sent you to see Jomo Kenyatta?
Zasonegere.
If you remember, if you align with your rebels, either you kill me or I kill you. This is war. This is not cricket. I'm blunt about it. And you're strong today when you voted against Dr. Banda, you know. But when in his youth,
He was
64,
he was
yes.
very vicious.
Oh, yes. He almost hypnotized me when he was doing that. I was
Yeah. You were literally paralyzed with fear.
Oh, yes, almost paralyzed. I'm blunt about it. This is war, it's not cricket. If you align yourself, I repeat, if you align yourself with the rebels, either you kill me or I kill you.
You're like, I'm not a rebel. I just brought a letter. Zosaveg.
Let Alec Banda read that letter. It didn't hold water. That's why it's so premature, because you don't go become a peace broker when you haven't been sent by the government. Who was you?
You appointed yourself a peace broker.
What did you know that? Who do you know was wrong? So that's why I said prematurity. We are premature. I made a mistake.
So were you?
From there, then, after saying that one, there was a word, watch him. He's Jipembe. Because I said, whom would you, he was very frank, who do you want me to forgive? I said, Jipembe. He said, Jipembe has reached a point of non-return. I didn't know what was going on. I knew later on what happened.
Okay.
Kanyamachumi is a devil. You can never forgive Kanyamachumi. Get in the background,
Yeah.
the one who agitated that he must
Yes.
became a devil. Well, I was told, now tomorrow you assume full responsibility as a minister. I was his deputy. We called parliamentary secretary.
Okay.
So I was given a driver driving from Lilongwe back to Blantyre to get in my Humber. We used to get a Humber as our ministerial one. I made another mistake because people came. They said, "Oh, Chipembere is now is not free, he's limited. He can't go beyond a certain amount. Let me go and see him. Before I go to Machinga, let me go." So I told my driver, "Come after 3 days." I went to see Mr. At first I went to see Mr. Chipembere, everything. He told me, "You can stay in the government, let me know what goes on." If I stay in the government, you're going to be shot by a stray bullet.
Yes.
I'm resigning. I want to make things. I resigned. And Mr. Chipembere was responsible for this news with the rotors. BBC was on, Nairobi was on, Tanzania was on. So when I went Blantyre before the broadcasting, I told my driver, "Come after 3 days." What made me say that, I don't know. So the people, let Mr. Nkweta, drove me to my place where I used to stay in Machinga. Now you call it Machinga.
Yes.
3 days later, the driver came and found me not at the hotel. He was to die. Your boss checked out. On such date, on that date, that's the date he told me, "Come after 3 days." Where is it? We can't know. We can't know where he's gone. So the driver kept asking the wrong way.
He said to come after 3 days. Where had he gone at this time?
Bus. So the Banda was asking that I should come to party headquarters. It was in Limbe.
Yeah.
But I had a quite kind man. He was officer in charge, Sweetman Kumwenda.
Okay.
At Kasupe. He's the one now who said, "Ajman, don't attempt to go to Blantyre, to Limbe. You may not come back." After that, a telegram came in, this time now addressed to Sweetman Kumwenda. "Can you tell Thengo Maloya to go to Blantyre headquarters, party headquarters?" He came and said, "Ajman, Chokaniko. You are saying you have these boys watching for you. A man, one single man with a gun, even if he has a gun, these people will run away."
Yeah.
So run away, don't feel contained.
And that's how you fled.
Yeah.
Where did you flee to?
So from there I went now to Machinga. This was at the Boma.
Yes.
I was trying to buy a land from the Greeks.
Yes.
Now I went to Machinga, my headquarters.
Okay.
It took only 1 week. When 3 people in plain clothes, we used to call them plain people, no uniform, came and said, "We would like to arrest you. Komaso to so send." Now where do we go? We don't know what it was. We don't know. But where do you go? It's unfortunate that I have never seen these people since that time. They literally drove me from this place to my mother's home. I met my mother. She was very happy. I come from England.
She didn't even know what was happening.
So I said, "We just prayed with my mother.
This was you saying goodbye.
Goodbye. If we don't meet in this world, we'll meet in
We'll meet in the next world."
I thought it was a job. Then I went to Malindi, found Mr. Chipembere. The people who told me went and told Mr. Chipembere too. So Mr. Chipembere was in hiding. So later on, there was communication, so I joined him. It was this time that now we're trying to organize a coup d'etat. Because now people are, Dr. Banda now was trying to hunt for us.
Yeah. So you and Chipembere and the other guys ganged up.
Right. That's when we were organizing for, we might have heard of a young man who was free at guns. So this is now the time that we organize the taking over the government. But Chipembere insisted we shouldn't kill Dr. Banda. But if it is possible, just arrest him. Again, Christian mentality was playing in his mind. And Solombera, who was an army reader, made several mistakes. Me now, a certain woman who was supposed to be giving us ammunition, we were told now, look, she was arrested. Although she was freed, but we couldn't get ammunition as freely as we.
Okay.
So I was told, you go to Dar es Salaam. He wrote a letter. The letter was almost like a passport.
Yeah.
I went to Dar es Salaam asking for help, if possible. Went to Dar es Salaam, I came to Lusaka, see Uncle KK, Kenneth
Kaunda.
That's how I joined. Now I never came back.
That attempt was thwarted, that revolt was thwarted. Where did you flee to?
As I was in Kenya, I thought the Kenyans would help me.
Mm-hmm.
But the people in Kenya warned me, and that was true. Since Dr. Banda and Mzee Jomo Kenyatta were friends,
Yes.
I would find myself in Malawi.
You were not safe in Kenya at all?
Yes. So I came to Tanzania.
Okay.
That's where I was for a long time.
And I understand almost 8 or something of your children were born while you were in exile?
Yes, all my children were born in exile. Some were born in Tanzania, some were born in Zambia.
How long did you stay in exile?
Almost 30 years in exile.
30 years outside Malawi?
Yes.
You never made contact with Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda again?
Not even my parents. Because if my letter got by mistake to my parents and somebody knew.
They were going to trace you?
Yes. Not only that, I would put my mother, I had only mother because father passed away, I had only mother. And you could, if they were able to arrest my brother-in-law and my young brother. So no communication.
Could we say it was a relief when the uprising started and people kicked Kamuzu out for you? Like, okay, finally, I think I can.
Well, when we came back.
When was this?
94.
94.
We are saying more to party, and we were very happy.
Mm.
Because one of the people who was in the United Nations who came to Malawi, one of our friends in Zambia, and he had told us, Dr. Banda had said, they would like to see you to campaign for Matu Party.
Mm-hmm.
But what we have managed is to have a referendum.
Okay.
That should the Matu Party win, then you could return back to Malawi.
Okay.
And you would not be persecuted.
Yeah.
That was enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we wouldn't come in. We managed to call in Dr. Bakiri Muz and Chakhaza. Only Chakhaza came to Zambia. Dr. Muz did not come. I think he didn't get the message one or the other.
Yeah, okay.
So Chakhaza was told, you are not going to be arrested. Dr. Banda is not going to arrest you. If he arrests you, it will be one day, not only today. So the whole thing will be played by bigger governments.
I see. Exactly what I thought.
Yes.
Because this is not a small man's game.
No, these people are very serious. Bigger governments, and they came through the German. The party and everything, what we did through the German. But they were not the Germans. There was a bigger power behind them.
I see.
I was sent to South Africa 3 times by these bigger powers through other parties.
Mm-hmm.
I was told, no, we have introduced black rhinos in your home. Only one day. This man, he didn't know. You go to South Africa, meet so. Rice.
Spending 30 years in exile, running away from a man that you invited home
Yeah.
to
Because
liberate yourselves
we had
from...
made a mistake. Instead of liberating us, we called him Ngamo, and then Ngamo started eating his own children.
Exactly. How did it feel, though? Must have been quite debilitating.
I am not against Dr. Banda.
Okay.
As I've said, I think that we made several mistakes. For instance, by going to see Mzee Kenyatta, to me, in childish thinking, I thought it was the correct way to reconcile people.
What does that have to do with
What are you to choose? Who made you an ambassador of peace? Who made you an ambassador after all?
Now you start feeling stupid. You're like, what was I thinking?
Yes, and you know, into 2 months and you tell him to resign. Why don't you campaign so that he doesn't become a president after 3, 4, 5 years?
And I think well, of course, maybe you never know what he could do if you reviewed who the person to take over would be. But still, it makes sense. You don't just abdicate and then, and then you let things figure themselves out.
Not at all. This man had seen governments.
Yes.
In London. Just go farm. So you see, we made several mistakes.
Yes.
And even if the coup d'etat had succeeded, it wouldn't be good for Malawi.
Okay.
The economy would be in tatters.
Yeah, sure.
It would be in absolute tatters.
Okay. We'll be getting back to look at the tatters that we have or we don't have now as we speak. But for now, let's go for a quick break as we listen to the next song.
Was lost in slave in sin, then Jesus stepped in, did set me free. Oh, how I long to go back home, but Lord, how my soul is fearful and weak. Bless me, O Lord, for I know I'm impure. Be thou beside me, and I will endure. Help me surrender this sin hardened heart. Jesus, you are my all. I thought my good deeds was all I would need to buy me a life that was free from all sin. But Jesus showed me what I needed most, His blood and repentance. Accept Him as Lord. Bless me, O Lord, for I know I'm impure. Be thou beside me, and I will endure. Help me surrender this sin hardened heart. Jesus, you are my all. Bless me, O Lord, by your word and your
Now, getting back to our program, you have lived to see Malawi celebrate 54 years of independence.
Yes.
Would you say, having lived through the times before we got independence from the colonialists, through the one-party era, although as it turns out you just lived in Malawi for a short while, and now the democratic dispensation, which you say you also contributed to bringing in,
Yes.
would you say this independence has benefited us at all?
In a nutshell, I would say yes.
Has it?
Because there's no that stigma of black and white. You now move in tarred roads. You're talking about an airport, big one. Now you're renovating. You're talking about Lilongwe being a capital city with beautiful houses planned in this, like the South African, that is Johannesburg, if you don't know. In this way, in these terms, we have possibly benefited. I know people are thinking that they should have flown to the moon, but they're forgetting how quickly Malawi would advance when we don't export anything. If we had worked very hard, there was AGOA, American Southern Agricultural Organizations, where people would grow and export. Americans Malawians responding to their God? No. Again, our thinking is a bit slightly limited. We have lived in peace since, and we've never fought each other. So one day I came to Malawi and I discovered, where was I? I discovered that Malawi was given 3% of the railway line.
Yes.
I said, 3% here. Let's go to Nakala. With my experience that I've had about Zambia and the railway line there, we negotiated from 3% to 16%. Because I was able to tell them. That gave me courage to say, I think Dr. Banda says that traveling is education.
That's true.
So Malawi is changing fast. But we don't expect that our leaders can manufacture money from nowhere. Because when you print money, it must be worth it. You can print money, but it's worthless.
What Malawians have a problem with is the over-reliance on donors. Malawians feel we can't even call ourselves independent if we continue to rely on donor support.
I tried that when I was in the government. A few people did accept, but it was turned down in a cabinet meeting. We can't do anything. While Dr. Banda had tried to reduce the shortfall, I think we didn't do much. We also relied on the donors. And due to lack of things to export, Malawi has been turned into one of the poorest countries when it has all the rich resources.
Exactly.
You talk about tourism.
Yes.
You can get a lot of money, although it has its bad effects, but you can get money. You talk about agriculture. You can get money. You can grow oranges here. You can grow tomatoes here. You can grow food and export food. You can explore markets in other West African countries where they're suffering. We go to Burkina Faso and other places. You don't have food enough as we have. Even in Ghana today, they're laying on yams. We don't do much on that.
Okay.
So we have turned ourselves into people who are dependent on other people.
All right.
And with these scandals that we see these days, Cashgate and so forth, people are saying, our taxpayers are paying you money, we are spending our taxpayers' money, and you people are, you think that is time you can squander.
That's your pocket money.
Right. So I think we are tarnishing our image, but the rulers are trying. Secondly, you know that the conditions in which you live are not the conditions in which I live. So I'm able to see the advancement in a way, but also I'm able to see the limits of the people who are leading us. How can they break this? How can do that? You find that, again, they also try to get their remunerations above what the Malawi should have been. That also I've said, there's a slight mistake.
There is a raging debate going on now about age and leadership, especially political leadership, with people arguing that older people should be allowed to retire and younger people take over.
Yes.
And examples given of very big economies which have been entrusted in young people. And the other argument goes, no, but you know, the older you get, the wiser you get. So really we shouldn't be making these arguments. You have managed to retire, and we haven't heard your name mentioned in political circles actively now. What would your take be on this matter?
Frankly speaking, when you grow older, you become wiser. There are other people who grow older and people will say, so we have these two aspects.
Exactly.
But I think a leader, to limit the leader's years, I don't think it's true enough. But let the leader weigh himself and be able to say, I think I can no longer stand. Also, let the leader say, I've read it 3 times. No, I think let other people do.
Don't.
Mandela did that freely.
That freedom, doesn't it run the risk of the situation that our friend found himself in, where a 90-year-old leader thinks they're still young and strong enough to lead a country? And physically, people can see that they are weak and frail. Should we really leave it to them to decide when it's time to bow out?
Well, I think I would agree that a 19-year-old boy cannot, because leadership is a responsibility.
It's a lot of work.
You're not dealing with a department.
Yeah.
You are dealing with the whole country.
Yes.
And these leaders, I tell you, they have a great job. To be a president is not an easy thing.
Yes.
So a 19-year-old boy will just start squeaking while... But I feel that age or so matters when you feel that you are failing. Otherwise, you feel that it's a usual thing. My uncle in Zimbabwe was able to rule until when people don't notice that it was not him who was ruling, it was his wife who was ruling.
But he thought he was strong enough to rule. which I think is quite an interesting example that you gave.
Yes.
Zimbabwe is a brilliant example.
Yes.
Robert Mugabe, up to now,
Yes.
believes that he can still run the country.
Yes, he can give good advice, but being a leader is a very high responsibility. You've got to visit this place, you've got to visit this development, you've got to do that, you've got to attend international...
It's a strenuous job.
So this is a very taxing thing. But at 80, 85, well, I'm getting, soon I'll be 87. If you made me to become a president, I would say, I wouldn't be able to run up and down.
Well, some people think they can still run a country at 87.
Yes, depending on their strength.
You don't think you're in a position to run a country?
I wouldn't even stand as a member of parliament. It's very taxing. At 87 is very taxing.
When you were a minister, you've led several ministries, but I remember that you were quite passionate about the land policy the other time, and
Yes.
How did that turn out? I mean, I don't think, did we make any...
The land policy was very good. We made several consultations, not for 1 year, several years. But the implementation delayed. So people tended to have forgotten. But it's a good land policy. I don't say it because I was involved, but because, I'll give one instance. If I went into any traditional authority,
Yes.
I'll go to the village headman and ask for a piece of land. The village headman recommends me to the group, and the group recommends me to the chief. After all, it will be the chief who will sanction, all right. But if I want to sell that piece of land, I'll go to the government. The chief, by and by, is losing his piece of land. The traditional leaders, we have been taking them, because we have allowed that there must be traditional leaders. And one of it is that they must have pieces of land. So when I have asked for a piece of land, and I have asked for a demarcation and be consulted, it becomes now a government land. If I want to sell, I don't need to go to the village headman. Thereby, the village headman will just say, oh, somebody has sold that piece of land.
Yeah.
But my land policy we're making was that the chief, the TAs, should be able to draw a lease, similar to the lease that the Ministry of Lands can do, and it must be honored.
Okay.
99-year lease, 50 years lease, renew leases, and that nobody should be grabbed or his land being taken away because of differences between him and the TA. And we thought we would train clerks, land clerks, to be in the traditional authority. So that when I want to sell the land, I'll go back to the village headman I'll go back to the traditional
I see,
authority.
I see.
In the traditional authority, afuna kugula ndani, nakuta kuti, amene watisausa.
Uh-huh.
Simungapeze wina akule or advertise.
Yeah.
So you see, the land will still remain a traditional land.
How active are you politically now?
I 100% divorced politics.
You did?
Yes.
How did you part ways with Dr. Bakiri Muluzi? Because there was that little incident where Atubele Muluzi had to stand in your constituency and you were asked to pave way for him. That didn't look too neat.
This is the point where people don't understand.
Yes.
I was saying I am tired.
Okay.
And Dr. Bakiri Muluzi was also resigning
Okay.
to retire. I had said, well, politics can change. If you have somebody stand here as a member of parliament, you only drive from Blantyre, as soon as you reach Intaja, you begin to think what this member of parliament is doing.
Okay.
Me, I would think we should have substitute. Who are the substitute? At first it was his young brother. People said no. Let. And it became to his nephew, no. Even his sister, who is alive today,
Yeah.
people said, they will not sit yeah. Then we came now, if there is nothing, what about that parent? And that parent's mother was saying, no. But we settled that at Pere. I campaigned for Pere myself.
So you gladly gave room to him too.
And I told him what we've done. I was able to say to people, "Look, this man will not need your money. Look, he has only a car. He's respected as the president's son.
Okay.
He can represent you here."
Okay.
Later on, I began to feel that I was chased away because to give room to Atupere is just unfortunate.
All right.
People are speaking from things they haven't known.
Okay.
In fact, chiefs went to see Dr. Bakiri Muluzi to say they didn't want me to resign.
They still wanted you.
They didn't want. They still wanted me.
So probably that's how the whole
They went
narrative
to,
kind
yes,
of
they went to
changed.
Sanjika, but I had to say, well, now, some of these young people, they don't know how far I'm going.
Would you? I know you've got big boys now. Would you? Is any of them following your footsteps in politics?
A few days ago, I was talking to former President Bakiri Muluzi.
Yes.
He said, "What are your boys doing?"
Yes.
None of them is even a councillor. What is
I haven't heard anything.
But I said, that is their own affair.
Yeah.
Yes, that is their own affair. I talk in good terms with
Yeah.
Dr. Bakiri Muluzi.
Yeah.
We have never differed. Even Dr. Bingo Mtaliga late, we were friendly. We were together at Malawi Mission School, and there was nothing. Even when people said, "I mean,
In the.
he said no.
So if your son came and told you that I want to join active politics,
I would ask him to think twice.
you would ask him to think twice.
Because the boys at the church have asked me to tell them, to ask me about, what about politics? I've told them the advantage and disadvantage,
Yeah.
but mostly leaning on the disadvantage as a Christian.
Yeah.
Because in politics, you do anything. You can do anything.
So you think it's really difficult to do politics as a devout Christian? There are some Christian values that will always come in
I
conflict.
think so, because people have said, no, Daniel, yes, it was the ruler Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph is.
But
And
have we heard of Daniel campaigning to become a leader? No. It was an appointment of God.
so it's
Joseph never campaigned to become a leader.
he was appointed by God to become a
By God.
leader.
Having wisdom to interpret dreams.
Yeah.
And he was faithful.
Yeah.
Even when it came to a point of committing adultery with Potiphar's wife,
Yeah.
he says, how can I do this evil thing?
Pamene mapolitician amasiku ano. Ukapa-
So I am saying, me, I'll tell my son, man, if you want to dine with the devil, you need a wrong spoon. Otherwise, I won't dine.
If you want to dine with the devil, you need a
need a
long
long
spoon.
spoon.
We need to wind up. What are you doing now? I heard you're writing a book.
I am trying to write a book. Several people have said that. I'll write my book.
Okay.
And it will soon come out if God allows me to do it.
Okay.
It will be a bit mild, but it will be full of facts.
Okay.
Because when you ask other people, they won't tell you
All right.
why Dr. Banda was angry and dismissed it. They are angry, there was a cabinet crisis. They don't know because they had forced him to resign.
All right. So
Very few people would know those things.
you laid bare as it was.
Yes, I'll bear it. But it takes time to write a book. Eh?
I guess it does. I guess it does. And then you also mostly have to record things from your own memory, I do presume. Yeah.
Exactly.
We didn't hear much about your wife, who she is, and
My wife is Edina
okay,
Maloya ni Kanyama.
okay,
This Kanyama was a man who was with Dr. Chibembere in the bush.
okay,
He was arrested, severely beaten, detained later on. Of course, he came out, but did not live long. We didn't find him. Just like my mother, as we had prayed, we may meet in the world to come. I believe we'll meet in the world to come. That's what makes me become faithful, a Christian. To say, if I promised my mother would meet in the new heaven, new earth, I must live to the standard. So when people say, what about politics? I've said, no, no more politicking.
no more politicking.
No more politicking.
Children? How many do you have?
Children?
Yes.
I have 8 children. God
8
gave me
children.
8 children and they are all alive.
Okay.
Except one
Boys,
girl.
girls?
Hmm?
How many boys?
I tell you what, I have 5 boys. I started with a boy and a girl, a boy and a girl. And a boy.
And you're like, this looks nice. Let me give a little keep on.
But then later on I became stronger and I have several boys. So I have 3 girls only and 5 boys. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about them and God has helped us. Of course, that's some trick. My wife will be returning probably Tuesday, Wednesday from the States. The second born was sick, so she went to see her.
Mr. Thengo Maloya, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is how we wrap up Cruise 5 today. We're talking to Mr. Thengo Maloya, one of the veteran politics. And this was a special edition as Malawi has just been celebrating 54 years of independence. Until we meet next time, it's goodbye.